Welcome back to Nick Landis Comic Corner Classics as Non-Classics. This is episode number 973. Excuse me. And Doubleshot number 867. Two Green Lantern trades. Yes, the Green Lantern trade series is something I very rarely have actually reviewed on this channel. The most ones I've reviewed a lot of is basically just Batman, Superman, Spider-Man, the X-Men, and maybe some other books, but yeah, this is the one I don't get a lot of trades to review for this one. Well, because I very rarely get my hands on Green Lantern. That's just basically the thing. These books picked up Barnes & Noble a few days ago, and I figured, though, why not just review them? I read them already, so yeah. First up it is Green Lantern by Geoff Johns, Book 1. This collects Green Lantern Rebirth 1 through 6, Green Lantern Secret Files Orders 2005 number 1, Green Lantern Corps Recharge 1 through 5, and Green Lantern Volume 4 issues 1 through 3. This book is pretty much the start of Geoff Johns' almost 10-year run on the Green Lantern title. Yep. The Green Lantern Rebirth now I should point out though, the Green Lantern miniseries, Rebirth miniseries, and Green Lantern Corps Recharge has already had their own two standalone trades already. This is basically a combination of about 2.5 trades because they collect the first 3 issues of the fourth volume of Green Lantern. And yes, I should point out that 1 or 2 trades features Sinestro on the cover. Yep. One thing you at least got to praise for Geoff Johns, he sets up early on and he pays it off. That was one thing that probably a lot of people loved about his Green Lantern run. I mean, a lot of stuff basically set up here is still around to this very day. Like the whole concept of the Green Lantern Corps being around, doing normal stuff, and the Guardians being dicks is basically normal. Yeah. Basically, Geoff Johns is responsible for bringing back the concept after the concept died back in the 1990s. And by far the stupidest decision that DC ever did, of course, this miniseries, this particular storyline references it, the Rebirth one. What had happened though? There's a 3-part storyline, not written by Gerald Jones. He was the original writer of the book. This is done by Ron Martz. Yes, the guy who eventually took over the book with this storyline, and basically was the writer of the book for a good period of time. Then left, but he did come back for the last couple of years of the book before it was ended issue 181. Yep. Apparently, from what I heard, that the sales of the book at the time of this controversial storyline were pretty bad. So instead of putting new life in the book, let's have Hal Jordan, thanks to what happened in Death of Superman, what happened in that particular thing was that the Superman villain Cyborg Superman and Mongol destroyed Coast City, killing millions of people. And you know what the strange thing is? Cyborg Superman has never been tried for this at all. And yes, they do reference this currently in the content. They actually give that part canon. That's the weird thing about it, is that after the storyline, if you read any Green Lantern comic or any Superman comic, the only punishment Cyborg Superman got was he got imprisoned. I think he got imprisoned on a planet. That was it. He never got tried for mass murder. Nothing. Talk about a waste opportunity for basically trying a good villain. Yep. So, basically what happened though is that Hal Jordan, who at the time basically sort of broke alarm, he tried to create his own coastal city. And he decided to basically go nuts after, he kind of went crazy. And pretty much supposedly killed the entire Green Lantern Corps, though it was later revealed there was actually 2 stragglers actually survived, thanks to, in part, Kyle Rayner finding people. And he pretty much killed all the Guardians but one. Yes, that's not a joke, he seriously did. Oh yeah, and he destroyed the Central Power Battery. And there was only one Green Lantern. For a long period of time, Kyle Rayner was the only Green Lantern. And this was like this up until the miniseries started in here. And Cal Jordan called himself Parallax, and became the main villain of the storyline, Zero Hour. Yep, 0 Hour. He tried to change the timeline. Some of those changes are still canon this very day. Like I'm doing Batman Year 2. Yeah, some of the stuff basically 0 Year did kind of were dumb retcons. Luckily enough, Geoff Johns undid some of those retcons, like restoring the original, restoring Wonder Woman to basically being the founding member of the Justice League. For some reason, I'm not sure why, Zero had established that the founding member of the Justice League was Apparently, Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman. Well, Superman was definitely part of the lineup. Apparently, you had the original 7, and you replaced Wonder Woman Black Canary for some reason. I have no idea why in the world this was. Yeah, this was explained basically in the GLA Year 1 miniseries. Hal Jordan was still a member of the team. They kept him there, but they changed everybody else. So it's revealed that why in the world Hal Jordan went nuts. He got possessed by a space bug. Yep, that's literally Geoff Johns' explanation. The entity Parallax, which later on form became the power source of the Sinestro Corps. Yeah, but it's not established here. This is basically Geoff Johns basically setting up his epic run. Yep, we also have Guy Gardner and John Stewart becoming Green Lanterns again. And, of course, we have Kyle Rayner meeting Hal Jordan for the first time in person because they did technically meet. Now, if anybody's ever read the previous one Green Lantern, in issue 100, Kyle Rayner went back in time and met Hal Jordan. Yeah, and before Sinestro became a supervillain. Yeah, fantastic story on that is. I highly recommend checking it out. It's like basically issue 100 of the previous volume. Yeah, in case when this volume didn't last exactly that's as long as the previous volume, no, and after 6-7 issues. Before it was restarted back number 1, and then it ended at the 52 issues, and was basically replaced with Green Lanterns. And now we have a Green Lantern title by Grant Morrison. Yep, which my title is actually pretty good. The Grand School Recharge series is simply this. Kilowog is somehow still alive, despite the fact that pretty much almost all the other Green Lanterns are dead. Yeah, this is never explained. Of how he's alive, or Tomar 2 is alive. And yeah, they pretty much sent all these rings to the whole universe, basically rebuilding the Green Lantern Corps, and the Guardians back being terrible people again, with the exception of Ganthet. Yeah, with the exception of him, he's actually a nice one. Though that basically comes changing when it comes to talking about the next trade here. So they make this means with the introduction to Sinestro's daughter. I think her name is Naku. I think her name is this woman later becomes one of several girlfriends to Kyle Rayner. Matter of fact, they dated for a long period of time. Heck, they rekindled the relationship in the Hal Jordan Green Lantern Corps series for about a year, and then they broke up due to the fact he couldn't tell her that, well, the suit villain that they fought was actually their son from the future. Yep. And Sinestro's grandson. Yeah. And of course we have the training in here. I love the stories in here with them. And then of course we have the start of the Green Lantern Corps series. Yeah, apparently Coast City has been rebuilt, despite the fact it's been destroyed. As for why the heck it took until this point to start construction of the place, and why it took so long, is never explained. Oh yeah, and Hal Jordan meets his new love interest for this volume. Cowgirl! Yep. By the way, Kara Ferris doesn't meet this woman until the whole storyline with the Star Sapphire Corps. Well, the Star Sapphire Corps. Yeah, and Kara Ferris decides to restart up Ferris Air, and yeah, basically good status quo. Yeah, this is fantastic. I do recommend this to people who are fans of Geoff Johns' run for Green Lantern. People are fans of Green Lantern altogether. Now, I should point out, the subject Geoff Johns does write everything in here. Excuse me. The Green Lantern Corps Recharge series is co-written with Dave Gibbons, who's noteworthy to be an artist, and he is the same, I believe it's the same guy who drew the Watchmen miniseries from the 80s. The artists on here are Darwin Cook. Yeah, the late Darwin Cook. Carlos Pacino, Patrick Gleason, Edith Van Sciver. Now, prior to Hal Jordan becoming... Now, how he got why it's called Rebirth, because during the events of Final Night, Hal Jordan died, just restarting the sun. And then he became possessed, became a host to the Spectre, after Jim Gordon gave up being the Spectre at the end of John Oster and Tom Mandrake's fantastic Spectre series back in the 1990s. I didn't read when it came out, I read it recently online. A really good comic book, and I know for a fact there's about 2 or 3 trades collecting this volume. It is really, really good. I highly recommend it. That, of course, led to Day of Judgment, which had Hal Jordan become the new Spectre. He was Spectre for about a few years. He was also responsible for something else Geoff Johns did. Yeah, having this thing where the whole identity of Wally West returned to be a secret, have erased everybody's memory of Wally West ever being the Flash. Yeah, this didn't last very long. Last for about a year. hmm Yep. So, and Hal Jordan also this person not only did that, but he also did something that I think that was probably Kevin Smith basically doing this because even he felt as though this was stupid upon the DC Comics do back in the 90s, killing off Oliver Queen. Yeah. How did he die? Well, he died in the most bizarre way possible. He died in a plane. He died basically, yeah. Superman tried the same. He got his hand stopped with a bomb and blew up, and he died halfway through Green Lantern Volume 2, number 101. And then from that point forward, up into the final issue of Volume 2, Connor Hawke was basically was the Green Arrow. Kevin Smith probably thought, yeah, that was a mistake. Because what Chuck Dixon told me about that was an editorial mandate. Yep. And basically Kevin Smith wrote it in that Green Lantern resurrected him thanks to taking a piece. Yes, a piece, a chunk of basically of Oliver Queen's DNA from Superman's cape and used that to resurrect Green Arrow. And yes, in case you're wondering, did Hal Jordan have a series as Spectre? Yes, written by Jane DeMatteis. It was an okay miniseries, wasn't as good as John Ostrander's one, but it was pretty decent what it was. It only lasted a little over 2 years. My guess no one could buy into the idea of Hal Jordan, a Green Lantern, being, well, the Spectre. And eventually he abandoned the role after basically turning Black Hand's hand into coal. Yes, he seriously did that. Because he's a Spectre. Who the heck would he think if I do? Yep. And he's brought back, and of course, I should point out that in the 90s, for some strange reason, if you read any comic that basically came out in the 90s that featured Hal Jordan, he always had gray in his temple. Yeah, I never knew why this was. I mean, you never saw any other character look like the age. They look like Carol Ferris. She still looks like she's probably like in her I would say late 20s, early 30s. Hal Jordan looks like he's probably in his late 30s, early 40s. Apparently he got resurrected, just like with Green Arrow. He got de-aged 20 years. Got the gray removed and basically looked like this. Basically back to old classic, the way Green Lantern was drawn, the way Green Lantern was back in the 80s. No white in his hair. None at all. I bet even Geoff Johns felt as though that was stupid artistic choice to do for that. Yep. But yeah, fantastic set of books in here. I do recommend this. Give this book a 9.5 out of 10. It's really, really good and it's exciting to read. And I personally can't wait when the second book comes out. The second book comes out, I looked up online, it comes out in December. So, don't have to wait very long. Now moving on to the next volume of Green Lantern. Yeah, Volume 5. Still done by Geoff Johns, though this is the first 3 books to collect this run. Because it was because of this run he ended these set of issues, he ended his epic run on Green Lantern. This is Green Lantern Volume 1 Sinestro, picking up right after the events of War of the Green Lanterns, where Hal Jordan got discharged from the Green Lantern Corps because, well, the Guardians are complete dicks. These issues in here set up pretty much a lot of the books for Green Lantern up until the end of Geoff Johns' run. Yep, Sinestro becomes basically the star of the series for about 12 issues, before Simon Boss takes over for issue 0, up until issue 20, and then, well, Hal Jordan is basically back to the star for the rest of the run before it ends in 2016. In here, Hal Jordan is broke. He gets kicked out of his apartment because, well, all his time is spent in space. He basically also asks Carol for money to get a car. Apparently can't get a job, so yeah. So eventually gets back being a test pilot. That's what he does in here. He gets back being a test pilot. But in here, there is no mention of being a test pilot. Eventually, he does get back a relationship with Carol, and then apparently they look like they have sex. But then they got cock-blocked, by Sinestro. They go to space. They free his home planet from the Sinestro Corps, which he kills like a good chunk of the members. He also basically gives Lila, a woman he would later Sinestro see this woman, basically the keeper of the Book of Parallax. I should point out, though, in Sinestro's own self-titled ongoing series, he had sex with this woman. Yes, he seriously did. Despite the fact this guy is probably, appearance-wise, probably in his 50s. Though apparently by Hal joining Green Lantern Corps, he gets gray in his hair, and he sleeps with a woman who's practically around the same age as his own daughter. As for why the heck he did this, no idea. So, yeah, and of course they don't find Black Hand. That actually comes next volume when it comes to that. So, he fights the Green Lantern. He fights this Sinestro Corps in here. Kills a small chunk. Not Arcurlo, mind you. Arcurlo is nowhere in this book at all. And we have Ganthet basically turned into Darth Vader. That's basically, that's Kyle Rayner's words in the New Guardians book, where he basically is stripped of his motions. Like, hey, so we need to create a third army. Yep. Basically, Geoff Johns is setting up the rise of the Third Army storyline, which will start up in issue 13. That will actually not last very long. It will actually last for about a few issues. Yeah, it crosses with this book, Green Lantern Corps, New Guardians, and Red Lanterns. Yep, it did. It's a pretty good storyline. Yeah. I've only reviewed just the Green Lantern Corps part of it. I have not reviewed this section part, which has a good chunk of the main story. I will eventually get the trades that get it. But this is a good start for this particular run. And I give this book roughly also a 9.5 out of 10. Also, Doug Mankey does the artwork in here. And yes, I have met Doug Mankey. Fantastic guy to me. If I get a chance to see him again, I'm going to sign this, because the only books I got him to sign last I saw him was I got him to sign War of the Green Lanterns. Well, War of the Green Lanterns, and one of Dark Knight's Metal books. Yeah, I didn't get a chance to sign the Trinity War book. I'll basically, when next time I see him, I'll take this with me, and I'll take Trinity War with me from this side. Yep. But this book is fantastic. I can't wait to get the next 2 volumes for this one. Yep, so that's particularly it for this particular review. As for in the case I'll review more trades for basically from Geoff Johns' Green Lantern run, yes, I will review more. As far as I can tell, aside from the main Green Lantern book, the only thing else I could probably need to review that's associated with the Geoff Johns' Green Lantern run is probably Brightest Day. And that's it. Just Brightest Day. Yep, so, yeah, I have no Comic Corners coming up. I may have Comic Corner in the future. Possibly, yes. Yeah, but otherwise, though, yeah, that's particularly it. Tomorrow I have roughly 2 videos coming. A review of the newest episode, JoJo Adventures. I'm looking forward to the next one. It looks like it's really good. And the newest chapter of My Hero Academia. And that will be it for tomorrow. Okay? But as for today, this was the only video I basically plan on doing. So yeah. So to the next video. Bye.